Yes, good morning, everyone. Myself is Suneel. I'll be taking your Linux administration. I'm audible to you. The voice is audible. Yes, good morning, everyone. Myself is Suneel. I'll be taking your Linux administration. My voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you just confirm it with writing a message in the chat box? Okay. So shall I start the session then? Okay. Prakash, you are able to reply? Yes. Shiva Reddy also. Okay. Praveen, are you able to hear me? Just you can write it in the chat box, yes, so that I'll start. Praveen, are you there? Okay, we'll start the session. So this course is basically Linux administration. So I hope you know what is Linux. Yes, are you aware about the Linux? What is Linux? You can just write it in simple word or unmute your mic. What is what you know about the Linux? What is a Linux in simple word?
So it's an operating system.
Yes, Linux is an operating system. So if you have to like say the speciality of the Linux, what you will say in one word? There is no doubt Linux is an operating system, but it is which type of operating system? Yes, any idea? The thing which separate the Linux from other OSs?
Not graphical, graphical.
No. It's a misconcept people have. You mean to say it's work in text mode? You can work in text mode in Windows also. No, it is not a specialty. But when you work in text mode, the output will be faster and there will be no chance of any virus entering. So that's why people will ask you to work on command mode, especially on servers. Okay, I'll tell you. So the one thing which separate the Linux from other OS is Linux is an open source operating system. What you can say about the Linux? Linux is an open source operating system. So the thing which separate the Linux from other is Linux is an open source operating system. What is meant by open source? We'll discuss that. Okay. So before we move to that, let me just because this Linux is an open source operating system. What is open source? We'll try to understand. First, we'll try to understand what is the operating system, because this you might be already aware. So let's start with that. So Linux is an operating system. You said yes. I said open source operating system. Let's assume that I have purchased one. We have purchased one new machine here, new laptop. So any machine, any computer consists of what? Hardware and the software. So any machine consists of what? Hardware and the software. So now in this, there is no OS. This is our software. Software. So there is no OS in this machine. Will it work? So this is the laptop or desktop on which you are working. There is no OS in it. Will it work?
No.
It will not work. So all of us know without operating system, the computer cannot work. Okay. So why we cannot work with the operating system, without operating system? Any reason for that? It has to be some reason, yes. So what might be the reason, or what is the reason why we cannot work without operating system?
The operating system is the mediator between all the hardware.
Yes, very nice. Any other thing? Okay, fine. What you have said is right, but I can elaborate little bit further so that others also can understand. 1 minute. Yes, yes, you are ready. Have you made the payment also? Yes, we are going to combine this batch. You are ready. Sorry, there was a call, so I was attending the call. Already, yes. So you made the payment on that batch. Can you just confirm me? Because I got a message that 3 persons have made the payment. So we are going to club that this batch to that from Wednesday. So can you just confirm it? You have made the payment? You are ready.
Sir, today I need to pay the fee and I want to register it.
Okay, then you just attend if you want. Already, if you attended also, it is if you have any important work, you can leave. Otherwise, if
Okay.
you want to go through it, you can go.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, we are going to combine this batch with that. Already 3 people have made the payment. So we are expecting few more people. Then Monday onwards, the practicals. Sorry, Wednesday onwards, practicals will be there.
The batch time will be same or it will be different?
Batch time will be same. It is convenient, no? 10 to 11.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, like this batch was for 5,000 actually for this our new year, that is Ugadi. This offer was made 4,000. So this the first and last batch will be for 4,000. So you have to make a payment before like Wednesday. Last date is Wednesday. So we are going to already 3 people have joined, and we will be combining them. Okay. So
How many days?
yes, let me continue now. So to understand you to make you understand in a simple way, we can think one example. Suppose I know example Hindi language and you know suppose Telugu language. Can we communicate? Can we communicate?
No.
No. So we need one third person who is the who you can call as a mediator, who understand my language Hindi and your language Telugu. Yes. So exactly same concept. Hardware understand which language? The computer hardware understand which language?
Machine language.
Yes, machine language, which is nothing but zeros and ones. Yes.
Yes.
The software understand which language? High level language. So now can they able to interact with each other? No. So they need one mediator. Who is that mediator between the hardware and the software? Who is the mediator?
Oh yes.
Yes, operating system. So any operating system is a collection of program. Any operating system is a collection of program. Any operating system is a collection of program. So operating system is a physical thing or logical thing? Yes. Is it a physical thing or logical thing? Yes, it's a logical thing. So every operating system is a collection of program. It acts like an interface. So this collection of program acts like a what? Interface between. So it acts like an interface between the hardware and the software. So using this interface, we can, what we can do? Using this interface, we means we persons can operate the what? System. Are you getting me? So any operating system is a collection of program which acts like an interface between the hardware and software. Using this interface, we can operate the system. System means our computer. Is it correct? Did you understand why we cannot use the machine without OS? Because the machine, which mainly consists of hardware and software, hardware understand only binary language, software understand high level language. So we need one interface, and that interface is what? The operating system. So most of the people in the world are using which operating system? Most of the people in the world are using which operating system?
Windows.
Windows, there is no doubt about it. Why? Because it is easy to operate because of its graphical interface and single partition, C drive. So it is easy to operate. And you want to do this course to work like a normal user or administrator?
Administrator.
Administrator. So generally administrator has to manage what? All the users and computers, including your servers. So most of the servers in the companies in the world are working on which operating system?
Mix.
Yes, it is a fact. You can check on the Google or any of your friends. So most of the world computers, especially the servers, most of the company servers, they are working on which operating system? Linux. So this course, Linux administration course, which will be about like 32 to 35 days, will be covering this Linux administration course according to the RSCSS syllabus. So in this Linux, so if you are installing the Linux operating system, so this Linux operating system also is a collection of program. So this collection of program of the Linux operating system. So any operating system is same, logical collection of program. So the Linux operating system collection of programs is logically divided into two level. First level is called the shell, and second level of the Linux program is kernel. So the most important first program, whenever we suppose, can we apply the command in Windows? Yes. So to apply the command in Windows, what you need to open? What you will open?
Command prompt.
Yes. So same way in Linux, if you want to apply the command, you need to open what?
Command prompt.
You need to open what? Terminal. When we open the terminal, what we will open? The shell. So what is the default shell we uses? When we open the terminal, we uses what? Shell. So what is the default shell we uses in Linux? WinBash. This is the name of the shell, first program. Okay. So then the main part of the Linux operating system is what? Linux kernel, which is called the brain or the heart of the Linux operating system. So how this Linux operating system will work? Let us see here. So like in Windows, most of the people are using Windows, but it is easy to operate. So there you have server OS and client OS, but most of the servers are working on Linux. Why? Why not Windows? Why Linux? Yes. Any idea?
Secure.
Yes, the Linux is more secure, more stable. Yes. So now the Linux operating system is divided logically into how many level? Two. The first level is shell. Second is kernel. So now you have opened the shell and you have written the command. Now that command is correct or not, who will check in Linux? So what is the role of the shell? What the shell will do? The shell is not present in the Windows, remember. So in the Linux, the shell is present. So what the shell will do? So first thing it will do, once the command is written, it will check the command is written properly or not, command is correct or not. That command is written by that vendor as a predefined command or not. So if it is not correct, if it is not defined in the by the vendor in that predefined commands, now immediately it will not do any work. It will say, inform us what command not found. It means either the command what you are given is not there in that, or your command you might have written wrong. That is the first thing it will do. Next thing what it will do? Next thing what it will do? It will check that command is given by which user. The command is given by which user. So in any operating systems, users are categorized into two types, normal users and one super user. So in Windows, that super user is called what? In Windows, that super user is called as
Admin.
administrator, yes. So in Linux, that super user is called as? Yes. What is the
No.
name of the administrator in Linux?
Root.
Is it administrator? I'm giving you the hint. No. Then what is the answer? If you know, you please write it. Otherwise, I'll tell you. No idea, anyone?
No.
The administrator in Linux is called as root. R-O-O-T, root. So that name can be changed? No. So in Windows, the administrator account is called administrator, whereas in the Linux, the administrator account is called root. So now, what is the role of the shell? First, it will check the command is correct or not. If it is not correct, immediately it will inform us command not found. If it is correct, then next thing it will check that command is given by whom. That command is given by whom? Whether the user or the administrator. So suppose if you are more comfortable with Windows, so can you use all the commands as a user in Windows? Like you are configuring some server or you are creating the user. Can you able to do it as a user if you log in? Can you create a user in Windows?
Yeah.
Can we create?
Yes.
As a user, can you create another user?
No.
That's what I'm asking. No. So when you log in as a user, will you get the full access in
No.
Windows?
No.
No. Everything will be same. So here also in Linux, if you log in as a user, you cannot use most of the command, only few commands you can use. So it will check, who will check? The shell will check the command is given by the, if command is correct. Second thing it will check, the command is given by normal user or administrator. So if it is a normal user, then it will check the normal user have that privilege to use that command. Like the command to create the user in Linux is user add. So you are given as a user add command. The command is correct. Now, second thing it will check is what? The command is cannot be used by user. So will it write command not found? No. Now it will write what? Other thing like access denied or permission denied. Why? Because that user don't have the access. So who will check that? Who will check these things in Linux?
Shell.
Shell. So when we will get the shell? When we open the terminal. So if you want to write any command, you need to first open what? Terminal. Once you open the terminal, what is the default thing you will use is the shell. So what is the default shell we use in Linux? Whether you log in as a root user or the normal user, what is the default shell we use in Linux? This is the program name /bin/bash. So what is the this shell will do? First, it will check the command is correct or not. Then if the command is correct, second it will check that command is given by the normal user or administrator. So administrator account name in Linux is root. So now if the command is given by the user and if the command does not come under the normal user privilege, so it will say access denied. If the command is given by the user which can be allowed. So it will execute the task. So, or if the command is given by root, the command is correct. So it has to execute. So whether the shell will execute that command? No. So now in the background, what happens? Within a fraction of second, the command which we are written on the terminal will be in high level language. And the task will be done by our computer hardware. So they don't understand the high level language. So immediately what the shell will do once the command is correct and it is given by the appropriate user, once it accepts the command, what it will do? It will, now the background process will start. In the background, what happens? The command will be changed, which is given in high level language to the binary. So who will convert this? Who will convert? So this is the role and work of the shell. First, it will check command is correct or not. If it is correct, who is given? If that user given is having the privilege, then it will accept the command and immediately convert this into the binary. Can we see this binary action? No, it will work in the background. Now, immediately it convert that into binary, and where it will send to the next level. What is the next level of the Linux operating system?
Kernel.
Kernel. Now the kernel will take over. Now the kernel will take over. So like in our body, different parts of the body will do different action. So who will control and manage all these our actions in our body? We are speaking, sitting, walking, talking, brain. So it is being done by various parts, but which part should do which work? Who will be decided and control and manage in our case? Brain. So same way, who will control and manage all the activities of the activities what we are doing on the Linux operating system? Who will control and manage? Linux kernel. So Linux kernel will, now once the task come to it, it will now check this particular task should be done by which hardware and software. Brain will not work, brain will not talk. But what to talk, when to talk, how to talk, all this thing is controlled and managed by whom? Our brain. So same way, once the task comes and converted into binary, it comes to the kernel. Now kernel will decide this particular task should be done by which hardware and software, just like our brain. Then it will go to that specific hardware or software, like our CPU. There you have what? Input, output. Yes, unit. Input, output unit. Input is given the input. Now it is in binary. So who will do this work? So there will be some units, yes. Control unit, yes. Then arithmetical logical unit. So control unit. So this combination is called as what? ALU, arithmetic logical unit. That is your processor. Now it comes to the processor. Now it will do the task. Now once the task is been done, what happens? The output is ready. Now output will be in which format? Output will be in which format?
0 1.
Yes, in binary. So if it is displaced on the output, we can understand? No. So now what the kernel will do once the output is ready, it will send the output to where? To the shell. Now what the shell will do now?
Convert into.
It will convert that into high level language. Why? Displaying the output. When it takes the input, it is in the high level language. So it will convert the input high level language to binary. Send it to the kernel. Now, once the output is ready in binary format, it again convert into high level and displays on the screen or monitor. So this is exactly what happens in the background when we are using the Linux operating system. I hope you are following. Are you understanding? So now, if you have, suppose somebody have sent the virus file in the Linux, can it run? No, it will check that command is there in the predefined command. It is not there, it will not run. And by in Linux, the file does not have any execute permission. But if that same file is being sent on the Windows don't have the shell, it will execute every file. The virus will get entered there easily. So this is one of the drawback. In Linux, shell is there, but in Windows, do you have the shell? No, only kernel is there. And apart from that, Windows identified what? The files with the extension, like If it is a text file, what is the extension? .txt. If it is executable file, if it is executable file, .exe. For database file, .dp. For media file, .mp3. For batch file, this. But in Linux, we don't have any extension. So here in Linux, the files and directories are identified with the help of what? Here the files and directories are identified with what? Symbols and alphabet. So here there is no extension. So here it is identified with what? Symbols and alphabet. Like when we start the practical, I'll show you. For normal text file, the first character will be hyphen. If it is a hidden file, first character will be dot. For block file, B. Like block file means what? Block files like. Then link file, soft link, it will be showing S. Socket file F. If a directory or folder, first character D. Pipe file P character. So here the meaning is what? In Linux there is no extension. So here it is identified with the symbols and alphabet.
What is block?
Yes. See here what happens when we are writing the data, anything. So the data will be stored where? On the hard disk. So in the hard disk, the data storage is done when we format it into the tracks and sector. The tracks and sector is called as what? Blocks. So the data will be stored in the, every operating system have their own file system into the block. So once you have created the file and store it, the file storage will be done in the block size, block file storage, into which tag and sector they have stored it. Okay.
Hello.
Now, in the Linux, by default the file will have only read write option, but no execute option. Only the root, that is administrator, will have read write permission. Rest of the all users, they will have only read permission. So can they modify? No. Can they execute the file? No. So Linux is more secure at the architecture level, that is due to the shell, and at the OS level due to the permission, is no execute permission, and the file will not run in Linux. Apart from that, the Linux OS can be installed on multiple partition, which you cannot do in Windows. Windows can be installed on single partition. So it is easy to operate. But in Windows, if one of the OS folder get corrupted, entire OS will be lost. But in Linux, when we start the installation, I'll show you. Linux OS installation can be done on multiple partition. So it is much more secure compared to Windows. That is the reason most of the company servers, they are working on Linux. Apart from that, security, main thing, security. In Windows also you have security in the form of firewall, but in Linux, it will also have the firewall, but in addition to that, it will have some extra securities like IP table, SC Linux, which makes Linux more secure than Windows. That is the reason, especially the servers, they run on most of the company. I'm not saying all, most of the company servers runs on Linux. So that is the reason now you will find most of the company servers are running on Linux. So once you are done with this course, you'll be eligible to work like a system administrator. And after the system administrator, your next goal like to work on the cloud. So there also, without Linux, you cannot understand anything. So for your higher courses like AWS, DevOps, VM admin, Oracle, Hadoop, SAP, Linux knowledge is compulsory. Okay. So I hope now you got the idea why we have to discuss about the Linux. Yes.
Sir.
So now these are the topics which we are going to cover through this Linux administration course. So I'm just going you the overview. So this course can be done by anybody from any stream, because for this course, we will be starting from very fundamental things, like starting with what? Introduction of Linux. What is Linux? The structure, where exactly what data will be stored, and here installation, how to do, and basic commands. So here I've written only basic commands, but that we will do about 3 to 4 days, only basic commands, like how to open terminal, how to check our directory, how to create file using cat, that's a VI editor. Then how we can create directories, what is meant by absolute path, what is meant by relative path, how we can copy the file from one location to another, how we can rename the files, how we can delete, all those things we will discuss 4 to 5 days, only basics. So everybody can do this course from any stream. And the people who are having some gap, so the depth of our subject and the topic will be according to the RSCSA. So you can easily cover up to maximum 3 years. And once, so this course is divided into two parts, standalone admin and network admin. So in the standalone admin, first we will start with introduction to Linux. Already today we discussed what is Linux. Linux is an open source operating system. What is open source? I'll tell you. Then the structure, where exactly what data will be stored. Tomorrow we will see this. Then the installation, how to install the Linux OS. We will start it from the Wednesday practicals. Then basic commands, then soft and hard link, how to create a soft link, how to create a hard link. Once we do that, we understand automatically the difference between hard link and soft link. Then every interview, you will definitely get some questions from booting process. So we'll be discussing completely 1 hour, 1.5 days, only booting process. Booting means loading of the OS. So once we install the OS, where it will be stored? On the hard disk. So when we power on the button, will we get the immediate login? No, it will take some time till we get the login screen. So in the background, what happens? The OS will be loaded in different stages. So we'll be learning that the different stages of the booting process in the concept called booting process. Booting means loading of the OS. So in Linux, we have different stages. So in each stage, some function will be done that we will be discussing under the run level, different run level. After that, our administration part will start. So as an administrator, what is the role you have to do? If you are administrator in company, many roles. Out of that, one of the role is you have to create the user account. User, suppose the company conducted interview and they have selected some people and they have given the appointment letter and joining date is today. So that once the user comes to the office, they will create their own account? No, admin has to create. So the HR will send the people list who has been taken into the company. So as an administrator, you have to create their account. So once they report on the first day, you will call to your cabin and will say them with their name, you will create an account. So and so user selected his name and you will assign the password to him. Later he can change his password. So how we can create the password? What are the parameters where the user detail will be stored? That is called user database file. What are the database file where the user information will be stored? How we can modify that according to the needs? So that we will discuss in user administration. So once the user left the organization, how to delete his account, that also we'll see in user administration. After that, we'll see the group administration. So group is a collection of users. So you might be already member of some groups in the WhatsApp. So generally group is created for what purpose? When we need to send same message to multiple people, like you have 100 friends, to send same message to 100 friends. If you do individually, you have to do 100 times that same text. So instead of that, what you can do, you create a group, add those 100 users into the group, send the message on group. How many times? One time. So same way in the company, so many employees are there, so many departments, so many files. So for particular set of people, like multiple people, for a particular file or directory, you have to apply one particular permission. So instead of doing individual time, so many times you have to do. What you will do in that case, you will just create a group. So you should know how to create a group before we apply the permission. So we will be discussing how to create a group, how to add the required users into the group, single and multiple. So if you are busy with some other work, you can make somebody as a group admin, like in the WhatsApp, you will do one person you will make as a group admin. So he can add and remove the users into the group. Same thing here, we'll discuss how to create a group, how to add users, single, multiple, how to make group admin, where the group detail will be stored, how we can modify, that we'll see in this group administration. So once we know how to create users and group, Then as an important work of administrator, controlling and managing the network. So that will be done by the administrator by using what? Permissions. So in Linux, we have three types of permission policies through which the users will be controlled. And at the same time, the data, which department, which user should require to access which data, which data should be blocked. So that will be done with the help of permission policies. So in Linux, how many types of permission policies we have? Three. Basic file permission, which apply the permission on categories wise, group, group owner, and the group, the permission given according to the owner, then group, then to the others. But if you want to give individual permission, different permission to different user, we have to use what? ACL, access control list. That we will be also discussing how to give different permission to different user using ACL. Then advanced file permission, again, which consists of three types of advanced file permission. How to set the set UID, set GID, and sticky bit. So these three things we will discuss in advanced file permission. Then we will move towards the how to monitor our server. So that comes under process management. So in that we'll be discussing how to monitor our server using various commands are there, but two most commonly used command is process status, PS command, and top command. So that we will be discussing in process management topic using PS, process status, and top command to monitor our servers. After that, first part in the standalone is completed. Second part will be disk management. How to manage our disk. So to manage our hard disk, we need to create what? Partition. So we'll be discussing how to create a partition. What is logical memory, that is swap. Then on that partition, how we can implement the LVM. LVM stands for logical volume manager, through which multiple partitions or hard disk can be combined into a single storage space, through which we can do the resizing. So we'll be discussing LVM, logical volume manager, through which how we combine the multiple hard disk space into a single storage space, through which we can do the resizing. After that, we will be also discussing how to implement the RAID on the partitions. Different RAID levels we'll be discussing, 0, 1, 5. How to configure the software RAID using RAID level. So that we will be discussing in the disk management last topic. Third and last part of the standalone topic is, as an administrator, we should know how to prevent the data loss. For that, we have to take what? Backup. So as an administrator, these are all the roles we will do. So how to take the backup. So if you go to get a job in big company, you will not do all the tasks. You will be just given one particular task. Suppose you have to apply the permission, means only you will see the permission. You have to manage the hard disk, means only you will be doing the work regarding the partition or the hard disk. No, you have to prevent the data loss, means only backup. So one separate team will do one task. In small companies, you may be having number of tasks, more number of tasks. Now, so how to take the backup? Very, very important part of your administrator. So we'll be discussing that using various tools and commands like dump, which is used to take the backup of everyday user data backup using dump command. So in the dump command, we have full backup, incremental, and differential. So these backups using dump command of full backup, incremental, differential backup we'll see. After that, we'll see how to take the backup of normal backup using tar command and how to compress the data. Like in Windows, we have WinZar. In Linux, we have a tool called gunzip. So using the gunzip, how to compress the data to save the hard disk while taking the backup. That we'll discuss with the tar command. Then how to take normal backup with CPIO, we'll be discussing. Then last thing, scheduling of jobs. So how you can create a file at so and so time, how you can take the backup, how you can create a user at so and so type. That is called scheduling job or automation job using the AT and cron tab. Both we will be discussing. More important is cron tab. So that we will be seeing with AT. So this will be the end of the standalone part. Last part will be network admin. So there we will start with what? How to install the application using RPM and yum. So we'll start with what? How to install the application using RPM and yum, because in Red Hat all the applications will be there with the .rpm extension. So to install .rpm application, we are using two tools, RPM and yum. So how to install the application using RPM and yum by configuring yum server, we'll see that. After that, as the administrator, our job will be configure the servers. So we'll be discussing these many servers, how to configure DSCP server. So your company is having hundreds of machines. Who can assign the IP? Only administrator. So will you go to each machine and assign the IP? No. So you'll configure in one machine, one server. Which server? DSCP server. So once you configure the DSCP server, it will provide the IP to the all the client. So that we will see how to configure DSCP server. Then after that, as the administrator, you need to make sure that the data is being shared among the employees. So how we will do that? By configuring the servers for sharing purpose. So in Linux, we have 3 servers for sharing the data among the employees. That is FTP, NFS, and Samba server. So all the 3 servers will be discussing. First, we will be discussing after DSCP how to configure FTP server. So FTP server will share only files, any type of file on any OS, but not directory. Then we can go for NFS, which can share both files and directory, but only Linux to Linux machine. But if your company is using server on Linux and Windows is a client, so can we do the sharing of files and directory with your FTP? No, only files, not direct. With NFS, no, only Linux to Linux, files and directory. So we have what? Samba server, which can be configured on Linux machine. Then it will do the sharing with Linux to Linux as well as Linux to Windows and Windows to Linux with the help of Samba server. So all these 3 servers will be discussing. And after that, I'll be discussing DNS, which is a database resolution service, which convert name into IP or resolve name into IP, which will be used in accessing the website by name or accessing the server by name, which is easy to remember compared to IP. Then we will be discussing how to host the website using Apache web server, hosting of the website. Then finally, how to take the remote desktop using SSH and SC. Telnet nobody is using. Earlier, they used to use Telnet to take the remote desktop, but now nobody is using because it is not secure. So we are using what? SSH to take the remote desktop. And how to copy the data from one machine to another? Yes. So these are the total content which we are going to discuss through this Linux administration course. So tomorrow, I will start with why Linux is called open source. What is the meaning of open source? Then, very important, where exactly the data will be stored. Tomorrow we'll see this structure of Linux OS. So that will be tomorrow's session. And Wednesday, I think we will start with the command, this practical installation. So by that time, you please make a payment so that I can share you this file. So I made 3 files. So in one file, I have made all the practical steps, standalone and network admin, all the practical step file with the link VMware from where you have to install, and CentOS 7 we are discussing in place of RHEL 7 through CentOS 7. Yesterday, tomorrow I'll tell you the difference between RHEL and CentOS. All the practicals in one file, notepad file, and one text file I have made for standalone topic. This file just now I have shown you. This file I'll be sharing you on your mail ID once you make a payment. Already 2-3 students have sent it. Then this network admin, yes. In this servers theory part, I'll be sending these 3 files, notepad file. Okay, and this batch will be clubbed with the from Monday onwards. Our 3 friends who has made the payment, they will be joining. Okay, so now before I close the session, if you have any questions, any doubt, any queries, please ask.
What are the roles will be in the organization after learning this course?
Pardon?
What are the roles in the company.
Yeah, see, I told you, no, what are the roles you have to do, starting with what? If a company purchases the new machine, you have to install the OS. Then when the users, it's been appointed, create the users. Then before you apply the permission, you should know how to create the groups. Then apply, how you will control the users, what type of permission they need, how to give it. We will giving with through the what? Permission policies. Then you have to manage the hard disk. How do you manage? You should know how to
No, my
create partition. Then if
question is,
multiple partitions are there, how to work on that? Apply the LVM and RAID. Then how to take the backup. These are all your day-to-day routine works.
okay.
And how to configure the server. Company want the sharing. So if it is a startup company, you have to configure. If it is already established company, these servers will be running. So once you have the knowledge, you can work on it easily. Monitoring only you have to do.
Okay. So it will be only system administration role.
Yes, that is the role, no? As an administrator. Desktop
Okay.
means you will not have much role. This is a system administrator. You will have full access to the server.
Okay.
Desktop admin means he'll just see the connection and install some application. So this
Okay.
course is for system administrator, Linux system administrator.
Okay. So the network administration will, it is same like Cisco network administration, or it is
That is called network administrator who will work on the different network using the router. Network administrator will work with the different network. As a system administrator with the operating system, we will work inside the network. That's why it is called with the help of operating system. That's why our designation is system administrator, which manage the network with the help of operating system. Network administrator means which manage the network, different network. When our company is having branches, different network, different. So they have to use what router? They have to configure that you learn in Cisco.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. So total classes is 35 classes, sir.
Pardon?
Number of classes is 35.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Fine.
Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm closing this session.
Last question. Don't we have shell in the Windows, or like the same like shell in Windows?
No, no, it is not.
Might be something in the Windows equivalent to shell? No?
No, not.
Okay.
So that's why the extra security is not there.
Okay.
Can I
Okay, sir.
close it?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh.